They're very nice, aren't they? Alright, the Astrox 88S Pro and the 88D Pro is here, so I'm going to take you through a first look and a mini review to show you what's different between these two compared to the last generation. So let's look at the 88S Pro first. So at first glance you don't see much different compared to the last generation, but everything has changed. So let's start with the obvious one. So the stringing pattern has changed alongside the number of holes and grommets on the racket. So the previous generation of 88S had 4 sets of single pass grommets at 2 and 10 o'clock off the racket frame. Single pass grommets have been a consistent feature on top end Yonex rackets, but the 88S Pro now takes an old school stringing pattern of removing the single pass grommets and welcoming back the shared holes. So Yonex's marketing also mentioned the use of bigger grommets to allow for better string movement, which should provide more hold time for the shuttle. So not sure us mere mortals would be able to feel something like that, but we will certainly give it a try. So the next item to have changed is the support cap. So the previous generation's support cap was more boxy, but the new generation features a more ergonomic feel for your thumb when gripping and squeezing on the racket. So another feature on the new racket was a new frame profile. Previous generation of Astrox 88S featured a recessed frame profile on the top half of the racket, while this generation features a fully recessed frame all the way through to the bottom of the racket. So this is in line with other models with super fast and smooth swings, such as the Astrox 100ZZ and the NanoFlare 800. So very looking forward to playing with these new 88S and 88D Pros already. So also, it wouldn't be a new Yonex racket launch if there was no new materials being used to produce the racket. Something called volume cut resin, which looks like a new type of glue, is being used in 3 locations: on the bottom of the racket, the T-joint and the very top of the frame. So the 88S looks like a completely new racket, so I'm not sure why they retained the model number and just added a Pro behind it. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see the full hitting review coming as soon as we can get back on court, alongside a review of the new Yonex X-Bolt 63 string. That's going to be interesting. So we now look at the 88D Pro compared to its predecessor. It didn't look like it changed much, unlike the S model. But it also has a new frame profile and a new support cap. However, the stringing pattern and the number of grommets on the racket remained the same, meaning it retained its 4 sets of single pass grommets on the racket. The length of the racket also remained the same, and the same new materials and glue was also used in the production of the 88 Pro too. So one thing that both new rackets shared was a slimmer shaft compared to the previous generation. The new generation shaft measures at around 6.6mm, whereas the previous model comes in at 7mm. Shaft length was also different on the new model, where it was shortened from 22cm down to 20.5cm for the 88S Pro and 21cm for the 88D. So frame thickness was only ever slightly more at 10mm, whilst retaining its height and width, so the frame size did not change. As I mentioned before, the new rackets did have a full-length recessed frame profile, so it should swing buttery smooth and very fast. The wooden handles for the rackets were also changed in this generation, and longer wooden handle was installed on the new rackets at 17.5cm compared to 16 and 16.5cm previously. Both generations of the 88S models retain the 5mm shorter design to aid an even faster swing speed. So here are the measurements of the 2 generations of Astrox 88s compared to selected models of other Yonex rackets. So you can certainly see a trend of full-length recessed frame profiles on the rise, alongside slimmer shafts too. So I expect these new rackets to be swinging very quickly and very smoothly, so I cannot wait to try them out. So I'll be stringing these rackets for a full hitting review as soon as we're allowed to go back on court, and it's going to be good. So if you've not seen my previous review of the 2nd generation Astrox 88S and D, you might want to check them out here too. I will see you in the next one.